Welcome back to the show. It's been a while. We've been doing some different type of videos and stuff out on the street and out in front of the signs and working on the signs. I was out there with the guys, and so I just wanted to get back to our little homemade studio. It's here at the house, and I wanted to talk about something a little different tonight. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Second line of the Declaration of Independence. And as we're approaching the 250th anniversary of our great nation, and how does that interact with a House District 41 race, a runoff race? How does that term, that phrase, really the foundation of our nation, how does that interact with this race? So I want to be, as these videos go forward, it's just my effort of a campaign. As this goes forward to kind of share my message, I want to be able to share with you my background of the Constitution, and I made a career of fighting for the Constitution, interpreting the Constitution, reading the Constitution, studying the Constitution. This is who I am, and it goes way beyond the 27 years of being in the courts, defending and prosecuting criminal cases, and so life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and this is, as we separated, our great nation separated in a revolution. This was the shot across the bow. This was the line that let everybody know, let the world know that we are declaring ourselves, our independence. We're declaring. And that's what the Declaration of Independence is. So life obviously speaks to our lives that God gave us and of the unborn child as it expanded going forward. And obviously here in Texas, and that's a big part of my campaign. And liberty speaks to our freedom and the obvious things of the things you're able to do and pursue. And freedom, liberty speaks to, for example, the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. And so these are huge matters. And the pursuit of happiness. So it is not a guarantee of happiness, but in this nation, you have a right to pursue happiness. And so this is kind of the definition of conservatism, and everybody has an equal right. We don't all have equal outcomes, so there's no guarantee of an outcome, but we have a guarantee of the right to pursue happiness. And so I want to just start weaving that into the discussion, and you have what's in your mind, what that means to you. I have it in my mind, what it means to me, and I know the foundation of what it means for our government, and it sets the parameters of not interfering with these God-given rights, unalienable rights that we have. So I want to just start this video by introducing a very old concept, the oldest concept in our country. It's approaching 250 years old, and I'll be speaking to that more as the campaign goes. And this is the time to separate myself. I've been saying that. We had 3 in our field, now it's 2. In the runoff, and I want to talk about that. You know, I'm in a runoff, and I'm very thankful that you voted for me and others and strangers and friends and family, but not just strangers, entire families of strangers that have followed my message, and I get the messages and I do my best to respond. It breeds confidence, and this is truly an organic growth of a campaign, and so I'm thankful. But I do need to explain. I'm still in this fight. And the runoff goes, the election is May the 26th with early voting the week before, the 18th through the 22nd. So basically May 18th through the 26th is the runoff. And so it's myself and another, the top 2 vote getters. I was just shy of reaching the 50% mark to avoid the runoff. Not complaining at all, because we're all gas and we're going forward. And I have every intention of building and rising until a heated election in November, which I have full confidence to get through as well. Not arrogance, but confidence. I do have confidence that the message is going forward. So those numbers are out. Yes, I did get the most votes. There's no such thing as a winner unless you got to 50%. So it's a fight, and you reset to 0. Let me be blunt. I understand I'm at 0 votes right now. No different than my opponent. So I must continue to get my message out, and the campaign will continue. That's the quick recap of the results. Thankful, very thankful, but just the work continues. We took maybe that evening off as the results came in. The very next day was back to work, which was last Wednesday. So, welcome back to the show. Just to real quick, if I could, on kind of the negative things. There's been some back and forth on this debate business and some silliness, and it's become clear. I hope he changes his mind. But my runoff opponent, it's become clear that Mr. Groves is not going to do a debate, at least one debate, and I expect for there to be others. And so I would ask the question. I want to start by asking a question of the audience, and I hope I get some comments on this. Is it fair? Is it fair for me to demand a debate of someone that refuses to debate me? And let me answer myself. I say yes. And I think the voters deserve, this has nothing to do with me. Voters deserve in general to hear from the candidates to make an informed decision. This is the purpose of politics, and this is the purpose of an informed electorate. And these things are important. So that means getting on stage, and there's a fairness of a back and forth, and there's this kind of parliamentary procedure that guides us in these discussions, and everybody's going to have their time, and you'll have a chance for rebuttal, you have an opening statement, and it's similar to a courtroom, but this is on the obviously on the political stage. So I'll ask you, please comment. Please comment if you would. Am I within my right to demand this? And going forward, whether he shows up or not, again, I pray that he does for the fairness of the discussion. But if he refuses to, I would ask for 1, 2, 3, up to a dozen. I'll show up to any event, any evening, any afternoon, and as long as it's fairly moderated. And it very well may be an empty chair on the other side of the stage of me, and that's fine. That's fine. I deserve my time. I think the voters deserve that. They even deserve the imagery of someone failing to appear, and that's important. That's important for whatever reason. That's for you to make your decision on. I believe that's a negative response, and I can assure you that I'll always be there. For example, you got to show up to work at the Capitol. That's how I jumped into all this from the beginning, going back to last year, as I called out our current state legislator, Bobby Guerra, for breaking quorum and running to Illinois and turning his back on the State House and really just abdicating his position and really just insulting every voter of the district. Really, it's just a slap in the face to the state of Texas, but ultimately to the children of this community. You don't run, and if you don't like things and the political cards are stacked against you, you still fight and you negotiate and you legislate. And so that's how I entered into this race, by calling him out on that. I asked that he step down. Ultimately, he did. I entered the race. And it's kind of happening again, in my opinion. It's kind of happening again, is I'm demanding for certain things. Am I out of bounds to demand these things? I'll let you comment, and I'm happy to respond. Also, another question that I would put to you. Let me just be clear. I'm not going to focus on negative. But is it fair for me to point out a new endorsement that Mr. Groves has taken on? Is it fair for me to address her previous statements and her, in my opinion, horrible positions on abortion and guns? It's my opinion, but they're horrible. They're horrible. And is it fair for me to bring it up? I believe it's my duty to spotlight this level of hypocrisy, to take on and adopt and agree with matters that are antithetical to the Republican Party. How can you possibly retract this? AR-15s, it's a semi-automatic weapon. It's no different than a Mini-14 that goes back 100 years. It's a very basic, you pull the trigger once and one cartridge is ejected. That's all an AR-15 is. It happens to look menacing. And so many in the community think that it's a bad gun or it's a weapon of war. It's not. Or they make they conflate the issue. Thank you.
One more minute on the issue. Second or your pen? So again, I find myself agreeing with Sergio. I mean, Sarah's on tape advocating for gun control. And, you know, the only thing worse than doing something like that, if you're a Republican, is then denying that you said it. It's on tape. Sergio put it out there. So, you know, that it is what it is, Sarah. I mean, if you feel that way, just own up to it.
Not just here, House District 41, the whole state, the whole nation. These are antithetical positions, in my opinion. And Mr. Groves, I have every intention of spotlighting this and continuing to bring this up. We'll have links. We've had links of these discussions on these issues of abortion and guns. So am I out of line for bringing it up? Let me say, before you answer that question, I'm not going to build a campaign based on that. Now it's time for me to continue with my discussion. What is my plan? So what is the purpose of a debate? And what would I ask Mr. Groves? Because now I feel like this is the only way to address him is through social media. And this is the only way I hope someone in this audience would share or forward this, however you do this, to him or to, I guess, one of his surrogates or anybody in his team. Mr. Groves, you have advocated for and you advertise, you got it all over your signs, that you're going to eliminate all property taxes. Such a reckless statement, in my opinion, that you're going to eliminate all property taxes. Well, this is how we fund our government in Texas. It's through property taxes. Other states have income tax. We obviously still have a sales tax. That is a part. That is a part of it. We have other taxes, the franchise tax of the business community, which is simply just for the privilege of doing business in the great state of Texas, called the franchise tax, and that's somewhere in the area of about 7% of our state budget. So this is how you fund. This is how you fund the government, and so I would ask on a debate stage. I wish, but I'm forced to do it to a camera. Is Mr. Groves, what's your plan? Sir, what is your plan if you're going to eliminate the mountain of money that is brought in through property tax? And this is a huge percentage of paying for our state budget. If you're going to eliminate that, sir, what is your plan on how to fund state government? And really, there's only two options, Gary. It is to create an income tax in Texas. Good luck with that. I can promise you the governor would never sign that. But what is your proposal? Are you planning? Obviously, everywhere in the United States, we pay to the IRS, to the Treasury Department. On the federal level, we all pay income tax. That is a function of being a citizen of the United States. That's unavoidable in any state. But a lot of states pay for their state government through state income taxes. I use California as an example. And Texas, we take pride that we don't do that here. And this is a reason that this is a destination state for people and business. Really, I mean, people are flooding away from California here, and other areas as well, New York. And this is a destination state. And a big part of it is no income tax, other things, obviously. But a big chunk of the reason why people move here is that we don't. So, Gary, are you planning on implementing an income tax? The other option is to raise our existing sales tax. And I would just say that this is a horrible idea for the lower income, middle income, and lower income. The wealthier of our state, it doesn't hit them in the same proportion as it does of the overall value of net value and wealth of the lower income and the middle income. It's a disproportionate regressive tax that hits the lower incomes unfairly, Gary. So it's either one or the other. One or the other. And it strikes me, sir. I mean, it strikes me that you have no plan at all because no one's ever asked you. And that really is the purpose of a debate. I would have asked you directly, firmly, just demanded an answer. The people need to know. Let me speak to mine. Let me move past and let's speak to some positive. And because I don't expect Mr. Groves to answer that question ever. I don't expect him to answer it. So let me speak to my plan, which is in line with the governor's plan to keep our existing, to modify, but to keep our existing property tax structure. Modification of it is to control the out of control, skyrocketing appraised values, which makes the basis of the tax, and they base a percentage on that number, and you see it, and it's for every $100 of evaluation, it's a certain amount of cents, and this is the way it's made up. And you got the ISD, and you have city and county, and you have the smaller sort of districts like STC and the specialized high schools and the water districts. all of that adds up to a gross property tax. And so you go through the numbers, and I'm the only one in this crowded field that has taken the time. Median values of the state, about $300,000 on the average home of Texas. Or here in McAllen, 260, or Mission, 217,000, 211,000 of Edinburgh, far as somewhere in the area of 160,000 of appraised value. And someone, we're going to get into the world of economics and a fair discussion, because I feel like I need to get into detail when there's completely lacking and nothing coming from Mr. Grove's camp regarding this issue of how do you pay and appraised values and a property taxes and a median values. We need to have this discussion, and you need to have someone that's going to be blunt and talk about it. So just in line with the governor's plan is to eliminate a big chunk of the average property tax, eliminating the school tax, the school portion, and the state would pay for it with a surplus budget that we have year after year after year. We can count on this. We are an economic powerhouse. We are the number 7 economy, not in the country, in the world, and not of states, but including countries. Texas is the number 7 economy in the entire world. So this is something that we can bank on. We can project out. I have every intention of even taking it further than the governor's proposed plan. He proposes really in the weeds. He proposes to cap the increase of appraised values to 3% every 5th year. I want to tie it into the rate of inflation, or 1.5%, whichever is lower. 1.5% every 5th year. That's the problem. Right now, it goes up to 10% every single year. Your house value can increase up to 10% every single year. And we're dealing with these appraisal boards, non-elected officials that are making these decisions. And I believe that those boards should be made up of by the vote rather than appointment. And obviously that they be capped at what they can raise the value at, because this is just the backdoor version of raising your tax. Let's have a fair discussion, Gary. This should be done on the debate stage in this intricate level of detail. What does that mean? Dollars and cents. So a house with a value of $255,000, $255,000 has an average of $5,000 total property tax. So to eliminate the school portion, it's approximately half. The school portion, maintenance and operations, M&O, it's approximately 50% of the gross. We're really in the weeds here, but what does that mean at the end of the day on a home valued at $255,000? It's about a $2,500 savings. It's about $200 a month, a little more, but I rounded down, about $200 a month. And so this is the number that I've been throwing out. That if you adopt this plan, I have every intention of filing this on day one. If you adopt this plan, the average is coming. Obviously, there's some homes valued less. Let's just say, for example, a house with a value with a total of $2,400 or so of total property tax. Cut that in half, save $1,200. So that's about $100 of savings per month. It's a way lower value of a home. But let's just talk. Apples to apples, let's just talk. You're saving $200 a month every single month that you can bank on. What would you do with it? We've had these discussions. And so I just want to put pen to paper and get those numbers across. You can start thinking about that money gets reinvested and it gets spent, and or it gets saved for college, or there's a good benefit, or you use it to help with the elderly or in our families, the way we do in our culture. These are things, Gary, that need to be talked about. These are things that you and I should be discussing. I would hope you've agreed with me on so many of my proposals.
I feel like Sergio does on this topic. So again, I find myself agreeing with Sergio. So yes, again, I find myself agreeing with Sergio. The only thing is that
I would hope your position would be in line with mine. It's just I can't tell people. I can't look them in the eye and say I'm going to eliminate 100% of your tax. Who talks like that? Who talks like that? Then what is the plan? It's just the problem is nobody has ever pushed back on this man, ever. ever. And I understand he wears the red cap, and I understand that I guess he has his following. For whatever reason, nobody in that group has pushed back on him. And I think it's a fair discussion. That is the purpose of a debate. That is the purpose of a runoff. It's a purpose of an informed electorate. And so I have every intention of continuing this discussion. So that's really in the weeds there. I just want to share also, nothing that he might propose would ever be implemented into law. That's another discussion that must be had. It's not possible. It's not realistic. And it's not going to be received by the governor. And I can tell you, because the governor's already put forward his 5-point plan. Mine is in line with that. Actually, mine goes a little further than even the governor's aggressive plan. So these are the things that going forward, I'm going to have to debate a camera. I'm going to have to debate a camera and speak to you directly. I would hope the message gets shared. And really, Gary, I hope you change your mind. Really, I mean, that's what this is about. I hope you change your mind. And even then, we have time. Sometime next month. We have over a month to prepare for this. So I think, speak to this off the cuff if need be. I'll prepare for it for a month if need be. We can have 5 or 6 between now and then if need be. That's fine. You prepare. You do these things. So, Gary, please reconsider. The voters deserve it. I want to end this discussion the way I started: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And these are some antiquated terms, and they're so relevant today. These are things that just don't go out of style. And you need someone that can speak to these matters. And what enters your mind when you hear these things? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So obviously it's the foundation of our great nation and state. And it makes the backbone for everything that we do and the basis of our law. But it also touches us personally. We know life. To a mother, you know life. And the pursuit of happiness. Well, this is, I think, the very beginning of the discussion of the American dream. The pursuit of happiness is the American dream, that we all have the ability to chase the American dream. My name is Sergio Sanchez. Website, sergiofortexas.com. Thank you.